Jane Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and we have two guests today I'm excited to chat with. Up first, as always, Mayor Scott Galloway. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Samantha.
I saw you were in Maine this weekend. Did you get some nice weather?
Well, it wasn't actually this weekend. It was, I don't like to post when I'm on vacation, but I was, just recently there, so I thought it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, it's such a beautiful area.
It's great up in Maine. Really, it's a good ride up, like 4.5 hours, but it's kind of a nice ride. I don't know if little kids would like it that much, but it was really enjoyable. And the hiking was great. Bar Harbor has a lot of great restaurants, and obviously Acadia National Park is phenomenal. So it was really nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. We've done a couple of Airbnbs up there and just enjoy the scenery. So, well, I'm so glad that you're with me today. I know there's a lot going on across the city. We've got a couple of fun things which we've talked about coming up this week, which we don't need to repeat. But there was a couple questions, and I appreciate during the week you connected with me about one of them, there was some questions that somebody had reached out and asked about lottery, and I think there's some confusion that there's this belief that the lottery distributions to cities was higher this year than in the past, so people believe we have more money. But in fact, that's not exactly how it worked out. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of explain how that funding works and how it was offset by some other things.
Good. So the state distributes all of the lottery proceeds back to cities and towns through what's called unrestricted local aid, UGA. That's unrestricted. So we get that as a part of the receipts that we use to balance our budget or to meet our budgetary needs. And I've gone over before. We have the real estate tax levy, then we have local receipts, which again is like meals, hotel, motel, excise, and some other local. And then the last one is from the state, and that's the local aid that is, given to us. It's made up of all lottery proceeds, and as I told you, it's based on population, like a number of other things. It's all population driven. So our local aid that we get is, if our population goes up, we get slightly more. And again, when we talk about the local aid, it's not a significant increase. It's a decent part of our budgets. I think it was $6 million or around that area. But when you take away the assessments, as I told you, the increase that we received in our unrestricted local aid was peanuts when you have a budget the size of the city of Woburn. So we're grateful for the continued base amount, but as far as some windfall from lottery, and you can't blame people for looking at all these mega millions and jackpots and saying, hey, there's a lot of money coming in, but realistically we're only seeing it based on our population, and we didn't get a big jump in our local aid. And again, even our chapter 70, which is the portion we get from the state for our schools, wasn't anything to jump up and down about, particularly when you take away charter school assessments and whatnot. So,
put this in context. We're talking thousands, not millions of dollars for people. I want them to really understand this.
I think it was less than $10,000 when you net it out. It wasn't not a big jump. But again, we have that base. We have the base of that we get every year. But as far as an increase, so people would say, hey, we can do some more funding. It wasn't an increase, not nearly, not even a minuscule percentage.
Hopefully someday that will be different, but I think it was really helpful instruction for me. I do want to just also mention the website actually has a really useful budgeting tool, and I know it's been up there for a long time, but when this inquiry came, I kind of went and started playing around with it just to get a sense, and it has a nice job of showing what we have. You can sort of look at where things are coming from and where they go towards. And I know that's a little work for people, so we're always happy to talk about it here, but if people are really curious and want to dig down a little bit, it's an easy tool to use on the website, and I encourage them to go there.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for clearing. We all wish there had been some bigger windfall.
Definitely. Yep.
I do also want to ask, there was some public posts around from the fire department this last couple of days that implied, and I don't know if it's true or not true, that there were some staff cuts related to FEMA grant equipment. And I thought, if this is not a great opportunity.
Oh no, I'd love to discuss it. One of the things that I want to be crystal clear on, there's no cuts to the fire department. In fact, that's quite the opposite. In the budget, the fire department had a manning of 72 men. We added eight to the budget, so that the fire department has gone from 72 to 80 men. That's an increase, not a decrease. So we need to be clear on that. There's a commitment to the fire department, just like there's a commitment to the buildings. We built a $23 million building, and now I hear them complaining about a bathroom. It's a little disheartening. And I urge people to, go to the fire station, particularly this Thursday, 11, take a look at it. It's magnificent. A lot of planning went into it, and really, no amenities were not included in this building. And it's really because of the commitment to the fire department and the needs and the safety of not only the firemen, but also of our residents. So I really think that, everybody should be looking at this thing and saying it's a magnificent building, and not trying to nitpick at this or that, because it's really a magnificent building, and everybody should be proud of it. Not particularly not some of the firemen taking, some shots at it. But as far as the heavy rescue, that is a different piece. It's not a frontline piece of equipment. It doesn't have any water on it. It's not an ambulance. It's a supplemental piece of equipment, and we just put that into operation on about 2 months ago. And one of the things that we were looking at is that the overtime started outpacing what I thought it was going to be. So we said, hey, wait a minute, let's take a step back here, and we'll run it 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And at nighttime, it's available, but it's not going to be manned. That doesn't mean there's a staffing cut or anything. So there is somewhat of a misrepresentation. And, again, I wish sometimes the people on Facebook would pick up the phone and call me instead of shooting first and then saying, oh, okay. But there's a major commitment from the city council to the fire department. And again, we're just going to look at this over the next 4 months to see what type of runs the rescue actually goes to, what it's needed for, what it's not needed for, and that's to assess it. And then at that time, we'll make some more decisions, further decisions on, how it should be implemented. But right now, it is being fully manned from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week, and then it's available after that.
Thanks for clarifying, and we'll,
we've added 8 new guys to the department. Added, not cut.
Thank you. I wanted to make sure we all understood everything, and I know everybody's interests are for the protection of our community everywhere, and that's what we all want. So
absolutely,
I think valuable for us to just make sure everybody has an opportunity to understand what's happening and gets that information. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thanks for actually giving me the opportunity to clarify.
I appreciate it. And as always, when there are things that people are asking about, we're always glad to ask about it here. I know that the last thing that I wanted to ask you about was I have heard from Omar, who, as you know, is one of the other mayoral candidates, that he had some interest in doing debate. I don't know if he's reached out to you directly or not.
No,
but I was just curious.
But I'd be happy to. And I know if you were feeling up to it, I know you did offered last time. I would be happy to, and happy to participate if Woburn Public Media want to set something up. I would think that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, we'll follow up and see if there's a way that I can participate safely. And if not, we'll make sure to find someone else that can do that. I know I always think these kinds of forums are really helpful. So thanks for the update. I know that was a quick one today. Anything else you want to touch base on before our next guest comes up?
No, other than, again, just to remind people 2 things, that the dedication of the fire department is this Thursday at 11 a.m. And then after the dedication, there'll be, tours of the fire station by, the chief and some of the firefighters. I'm sure will be giving tours. And then lastly, Sunday is the hazard waste, which we haven't had in quite some time. So, people have, checked the city's website to see what we're taking, but it's a free hazard waste, and that's, doesn't happen too often. So you can check around, but we're excited. And that's on Saturday at 9 to 12, and it ends at 12 o'clock sharp. But it's at the high school, and we're hoping people clean out their garages, basements, and take advantage of a great free service.
Absolutely. I know people have been accumulating for a long time about it. So I'll be really disappointed if there's a big long line after all the complaining all of us have done, including myself, but we don't have one. So I'm thrilled to see that that's happening. I hope it gets really busy so we can do more in the future. Thanks for joining me,
Hope
Scott.
you're feeling better, Samantha. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. A little tired this week, but we'll get through it.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Next up, Rob Toro, welcome.
Hi, Samantha. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here. And today, I mean, you wear a lot of hats in our community. So today, you're wearing the hat of Toro Construction. I had asked if there were any local businesses to do awesome stuff in our community to join me and talk a little bit about stuff. So I'm thrilled that you're here to do that. Thanks.
Yeah, like I said, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So there's a whole bunch of things that are happening in summertime. It's been, we've had sort of crazy weather. There's been a lot of opportunity in the summer to get outside and sometimes be really hot and sometimes be a little cooler. What are some of the fun things that people can do in their backyard space or side yard space or whatever they have? Sometimes it's just a little front stoop or whatever that people are doing to be creative and get out there and have some fun.
Yeah, there's a handful of things that people can do. From building a little fire pit in their backyard to maybe constructing and planting in a planter box. Planting a tree for some shade. We all know it's either been really hot or rainy for this summertime, right? It's one or the other. Maybe a little patio area, do it yourself patio area, changing out some flowers in the backyard, brighten up the space a little bit. Those are a couple options that people can choose to do if they have a little bit of free time and want to, address either their backyard or maybe the front curb appeal.
Yeah, I'd love that. And, I know the work that you guys do, you do a lot of bigger projects and a lot of work inside as well. What are some of the things that you've been busy doing this summer season as people are getting ready and improving their homes?
Yeah, so summer's always, big for decks, right? A lot of people want their decks done, come March, people are calling February, March for decks for the summertime, springtime. So summertime is
Oh, wow, your customers are more planned. I'm usually like last minute Sally over here going, oh, I want to be outside. Why didn't I hook that up?
We still get a lot of those too, but you do get some that we'll call February, March for, April, May, June. It happens. But we do, decks are very big in the summertime, windows, doors, but we do a lot of kitchens and baths and basements just overall throughout the year. Exterior painting is another big one. Things like that. So, but decks are definitely probably decks and patios are definitely one of the two of the more important or popular things in the summertime because it's outdoor space. You're on that, right? You want to hang out outside in the nice weather.
Well, I love that. We have a patio outside that I don't use nearly as often this summer as I would like because I have to stay out of the sun. But we love it, and it's amazing how much a space like that can change your entertainment and where you have dinner and just sort of all kinds of things that I sometimes don't realize are going to happen when you add a little bit of that formal space outside.
Yeah, it's a great space to just after work if you want to just relax a little bit. And have dinner or just hang out and just decompress. It's nice to have that space.
So now I know that summer is, not over, thankfully, and we've got a lot more left, but now people are probably starting to look to winter and what's going to come next. What are some of the types of projects that take your business inside that people should start thinking about as they're thinking about what they might want to be doing next?
I'd say for us, a lot of our business is kitchens, baths, basements. A lot of people do whole home remodels. So they buy a house or inherit a house and they want to renovate the whole thing. But basements are really big in the wintertime because it's a space that you can do really year round. But you can renovate a basement in the wintertime, not have to worry about it really impacting your, first, second floor living, right? So those are very popular. So those type of projects are very popular in the wintertime or kitchens and baths, like I said, in the wintertime, but that's really year round. I'd say basements are probably one of the more popular remodels in the wintertime because of the little impact that it has on your home, in the wintertime. It can be done, not kind of really impact much of your daily living.
Yeah, as someone who bought an older home and over the course of the 20 years that we've owned it, pretty much redone every room. And in some cases, my husband might say I'm now redoing other rooms for a second time. I'm kind of making my way around.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sympathetic to the non-disruption part of that, and
Yeah.
I do get it gets a little easier when I'm doing more cosmetic things than structural now, at least.
For sure, for sure.
Well, before I let you go, I also want to just touch base because you guys also do a lot of things for the community, and you have coming up as we get closer to school, a great program that you've done in the past around backpacks for kids with supplies and things. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what's coming up there.
Yes. So recently, we just to touch on, we did the ice cream social at the Reef School. That was last month. And this, we haven't set the date yet. My wife really spearheads the back to school event. She's a teacher as well, so she, it's kind of her baby, I would say. But sometime in the end of August, location to be determined. It will be posted on our social media page, and we'll share it on the Woburn Residents page on Facebook and stuff. But we'll be giving out school supplies to elementary school children, and also those generally come in like drawstring backpacks with the school supplies. And then we'll have a predetermined amount of actual backpacks that we're trying to figure out how to disseminate. I think we might give a certain amount to each school and let them kind of pick who should get it. They know best, the guidance counselors, the principals, things like that. So we're still working out some of the fine details. I think this is only our second year doing it. Last year was our first year. So we're still learning. We took some points from last year, and we're critiquing them a little bit, but the same basic premise, which will be free school supplies to children in some type of backpack. And then maybe we'll see. We might be something else that we do in conjunction at the same time with the backpack event.
Well, we're so appreciative of it. It's really
that will be in the end of.
That's awesome. We'll definitely keep an eye out for when that happens. We really appreciate it. We'll make sure also all your contact information, Lauren, we'll make sure is available for anyone who wants to look at their basement, their deck, or their bathroom or anything, or just stay in touch. We are so fortunate to have local businesses like yourselves who are really part of our community. And really you go out of your way to make sure that you're helping us and serving us in so many ways, including the school supply. So I love that there's a new tradition. Year 2 is on its way. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem, Samantha. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it as always.
And Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other.